Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Hello. Good evening.
Yeah, the journey feels slow.
Hello.
But before we dive in, let's introduce ourselves. My name is Arshia Sayed. I'm a pharmacist. I live in Maryland. And now I'm a proud digital business owner. Thank you.
My name is Patsy, and I am the grandma of two dying and a mother of four. I came from Brunei um, with my husband, Joseph. Now we are business owners and entrepreneur, digital business owner and entrepreneur and mentor.
My name is Miriam. I am from Jamaica, living in the United States. I am a registered nurse. I'm a mom, a grandma, and a nurse over 20 years, and now a proud digital business owner.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Isabel. I am originally from Mexico, now residing in North Carolina. I am a wife, a mom, and a grandmother, a proud digital business owner, and a mentor.
Hi everyone, my name is Sandy. I'm originally from Panama, but currently residing in Surrey, British Columbia, Canada. I also work in the movie industry and I'm a proud digital business owner and mentor.
Hi, my name is Asma Harris. I am a digital business mentor and I live in USA with my family.
Hi, my name is Alia Khan. I'm a doctor by profession. I'm from Pakistan. I live in Maryland with my family. I'm a very proud digital business owner. Nice to see everyone. Thank you.
Hello. Back to me. This is Rashia Sayed. Today's conversation is called When the Journey Feels Slow. We often celebrate milestones, breakthroughs, big wins. But what about the in between season, the quiet progress, the steady effort, the long stretch where growth feels invisible? Tonight, we are talking about the kind of growth that doesn't trend, doesn't get applause, but shapes us deeply, and that is the slow season. And the next topic I'm going to talk about is patience isn't passive. Progress that doesn't look dramatic, speed. If things were not moving quickly, I assumed something was wrong. But I learned that patience isn't passive, it's actively consistent. The slow season taught me that steady efforts grow quietly. Thank you. What is happening? Thank you.
Hello. So, doubt is the waiting, questioning yourself mid journey. One of the most challenging moments in any journey is not always the beginning, sometimes it's the waiting, the season where you're doing the work, learning, improving, showing up, but the results are not immediate. That's when doubt can quietly appear. You begin asking yourself questions like, am I doing this the right way? Am I enough? Did I choose the right thing? Should I be further ahead that I am now? And I've experienced those moments too, you know? When progress feels slower than expected, it's easy for confidence to feel shaky, not because you're incapable, but because our minds often look for quick proof that our efforts are working. When that validation takes time, the mind starts questioning everything. But over time, when you keep going, doubt is the waiting season doesn't necessarily mean you're on the wrong path. Sometimes it simply means you're in the part of the journey where growth is happening quietly for you. Thank you.
Asma?
Today my topic is invisible growth. Roots grow before branches. During slow season, it can feel like nothing is happening. There's a concept in nature that helped me understand these movements. Roots grow underground long before anything becomes visible above the surface. Growth often begins where no one can see it. In these quiet seasons, you are developing resilience, clarity, and discipline. Just because it's invisible doesn't mean isn't real. Invisible growth is still growth. Thank you.
So we're talking about cultural pressure and timelines, comparing milestones. So growing up in a Latin culture, timelines, were always present, even if they weren't spoken loudly. By a certain age, you're supposed to have a stable career, have clarity, be established, follow a predictable path. And when you move countries, like I did from Panama to Canada, those expectations can feel even heavier. You want to prove something, you want to make your family proud, you want your sacrifices to make sense. So when I began questioning my path after 25 years in the film industry, it wasn't just a professional shift. It felt like I was stepping outside a cultural script. There's a subtle pressure that says if you're starting something new later in life, you're behind. And slow seasons can feel like failure. But when I began building my digital business, I wasn't in my 20s experimenting. I had experience, responsibility, history, and a reputation. So starting again in any form can feel humbling. But I had to unlearn something powerful. Growth doesn't follow a universal schedule. Some people find clarity early, others find clarity after decades of experience. Some pivot once, others pivot multiple times. According to Harvard Business Review, the average age of successful entrepreneurs is actually in their 40s and 50s, not in their 20s. So that changed my perspective. Life experience is not a delay, it's preparation. The slow seasons weren't signs of failure, they were seasons of alignment. And in our community, I see this constantly. Professionals rebuilding, immigrants redefining success, parents rediscovering dreams, women reinventing themselves after long careers, different ages, different backgrounds, different timelines, but the same truth. Your timeline is personal. So when you stop comparing milestones and start honoring your path, something shifts internally. You stop rushing, you stop apologizing, you stop measuring your growth against someone else's high real, and you begin building in alignment with your season. Cultural expectations can shape us, but they don't have to confine us. My timeline isn't behind, it is intentional. And when you own your timeline, you reclaim your confidence. Thank you. Miriam?
I'm sorry about that. Okay, so mine is redefining what progress means. Steady over spectacular is what I'll speak about today. So I'm just gonna liken my viewpoint to my nursing career. So in healthcare, I've learned something important about progress. Healing rarely looks dramatic. It's usually small improvement, one good lab result, one stronger step, one calmer breath, and quiet signs that the body is rebuilding. I remember a patient recovering from surgery who felt discouraged because progress seemed slow. Day by day, it looks like nothing was changing, but the doctors and the nurses, us, could see what was happening beneath the surface. And so strength returned, stability building, and weeks later, that same patient walked out of the hospital. So the recovery didn't happen in one big moment. It happened through steady improvement, just like growth and our business and almost everything in life. So that experience taught me something about life and growth. We often expect progress to be loud and fast and visible. But the truth is, the strongest foundation are built slowly and over time. So steady growth, I would say, develops endurance, and it deepens your discipline, and it shapes who you eventually become. So I'm just gonna say, so if your journey feels slow right now, just remember this: progress doesn't have to be spectacular to be meaningful, because the same patience that builds the roots on the ground eventually gives rise to the strongest branches above. So, those are my 2 cents.
Thank you, Miriam.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about trusting the process and learning to stay on course. One of the most important lessons in my journey was learning how to trust the process, especially during the slower seasons. At the beginning, it's natural to want quick results. And I think we all expect that, we want results overnight. When you start something new, though, you hope to see immediate progress. You want confirmation that your effort is working. But real growth rarely happens that way. And I think, we have all learned that things don't necessarily work the way we expect. There were moments in my journey when things moved slower than expected, moments where the results weren't
Moments
immediately
where
visible.
the
And during those times, the greatest skill I had to develop was trust, not blind optimism, not pretending everything was easy, but a grounded belief that the effort I was putting in mattered. A belief that every small action was contributing to something bigger, that learning a new skill today would make tomorrow easier. And the repetition would eventually turn effort into confidence. And over time, I began to see how small steps truly accumulate. A conversation leads to a connection, a lesson leads to a new skill, and a small improvement leads to greater confidence. And those small moments, repeated consistently, begin to create momentum. And now, looking back, I realized that many of the results I see today were built during the season where progress felt quiet and slow. That's why trusting the process is so important, because the process is where skills are developed, resilience is strengthened, and belief in yourself begins to grow. So the people who eventually reach their goals are often not the ones who move fastest. They're the ones who stay the course long enough to see the results of their persistence. Thank you.
Thank you, Isabel. Patsy?
Yes, rest without quitting, distinguishing between pause and stop. One thing Joseph and I have learned in this journey is that sometimes progress doesn't look like constant movement. Sometimes progress looks like rest. When people start something new, whether it's building a business, changing their life, or pursuing a dream, they often think they must be moving fast. But the truth is, the journey can feel slow at times, and that is not failure. Sometimes we simply need to pause and recharge. Rest is not quitting. Slowing down is not giving up. In my own journey building our online business, there have been moments where things felt challenging, moments where we had to step back and pray and reflect and regain our strength. Those moments of rest actually help us continue the journey with more clarity and stronger faith, because sustainable growth in business and in life includes recovery. Just like in nature, there are seasons of planting, seasons of growth, and sometimes seasons of rest. But rest doesn't mean the dream has stopped. It simply means we are preparing ourselves to keep moving forward. And when we are part of a supportive community like this, you realize something important. You're not working the journey alone. Sometimes we move fast, sometimes we move slow. But what matters most is that we keep going. Thank you.
Thank you, Patsy. Aliyah?
So my today's topic is what our stories share. So guys, we see so many feedbacks, so many testimonials. I read a lot of stories every day, and I look at so many things that people write. So what they share, I notice one thing, that they share something which is very consistent. So while looking at the stuff, I realize that consistency matters, patience matters, your perseverance matters. Slow does not mean anything. Even if you are moving a progress, but you are making, as long as you are moving, it's good. The slow season feels uncomfortable because it does not provide immediate feedback or immediate results or immediate success, but it is very powerful. If you are moving day by day slowly, it builds internal strength. It builds internal inspiration, more and more motivation. But it teaches us that patience, focus, emotional maturity matters. And often, when progress becomes visible, then we realize the slow seasons prepared us. Our efforts were not in vain, and we are becoming successful at the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Aliyah. Okay, so I'll be closing with the message if you are in a slow season. So, if there was a season in my life that didn't look dramatic, it wasn't loud, it wasn't glamorous, it wasn't full of visible wins, it was quiet. After 25 years in the film industry, stepping into a completely different path required humility. So, requires humility. Just a sec. I was learning again, I was building again, I was stretching again, to something completely different to what I was used to. And that growth in that season felt very slow. Okay. We're so used to see results really fast. And well, that was not the case, so no instant breakthroughs, no overnight shifts, just daily commitment. And if you're in a season like that right now, I want to see this clearly. Slow does not mean stagnant. Just because your progress isn't loud doesn't mean it isn't real. And delay doesn't mean denied. Some of the most important transformations in my journey happened internally
Mhm.
before anything shifted externally. I was strengthening my discipline, I was building emotional resilience, I was learning new skills, I was deepening my faith, and I was rebuilding self trust. So none of that was visible at first, but it was shaping me. And shaping always precedes elevation. In our community, I see it constantly. Someone who feels behind is actually building capacity. Someone who feels unseen is actually developing strength. Someone who feels slow is actually building sustainability. So, steady progress often works underground before it comes visible, like roots forming before the tree grows tall. Life moves in seasons. There are seasons of planting, seasons of learning, seasons of stretching, and seasons of harvesting. You cannot rush growth without weakening it. If your journey feels slower than expected, it may simply be deepening. Stay consistent, stay patient, stay grounded. Some seasons grow you quietly before they elevate you publicly. And when the visible results come, they will be stronger, steadier, and more aligned because of what you built in the quiet. So that's the message to conclude this live. And we hope so that you got inspired with what we shared today. When the journey feels slow, um, we all have experienced here different situations. We have gone through all the points that we talked today. Um, we talked today about the cultural pressure, comparing yourself to others people, trusting the process, when it feels slow, taking some rest without quitting. So, because sometimes it's emotionally, um, there's a lot of resilience required on this journey. Um, and learning to stay on course. We also talk about redefining what progress means. So understanding, what it takes you from point A to point B, and also, building those roots before the branches. So building that foundation before you can start seeing the results. And there's going to be moments where you're going to question in yourself, if you're doing, or if you are on the right track, if you made the right decision. But it's all part of the journey, you know. You will just have to learn to be patient with yourself, patient with the business, patient with your journey. So this is all part of our journey, and although we sometimes we feel like it's slow, it's actually we are building that foundation for the future and to be able to see those results later. So we hope so that you got inspired with what we shared today. And if you want to share anything about this topic today, you can put it in the comments. We'll be happy to read your comments. And if you want to be part of a global online community that support you, that motivates you, that is there along your journey, here are three ways that you can get in touch with us. So you can either put in the comments more info, you can send us a private message, or you can register directly into our websites that appear on the screen with your name and email address, and we'll send you that invitation to watch our webinar. So we want to say thank you to everyone that has watched the live with us today. For those catching the replay, thank you so much. And to our followers, thank you so much for being part of our journey, for believing in us, and for engaging with our content. We want to end it with this little thought. Different paths brought us here, but we are reminded tonight that no one grows alone. Thank you for being part of this conversation. This is Global Voices Live, where starting over is honor and not rush. So we want to wish everyone a happy and blessed rest of the Monday for those who are on Monday, and a happy and blessed Tuesday for those who are on Tuesday, and happy and blessed week ahead for everyone. And we'll see you again on Friday for another episode of the Global Voices Live. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching, and God bless you all. Bye,
Okay.
everyone.
I
Bye. Thank you.